In today's video, we get boisterous on a boat trip, investigate alarming apparitions, no, not him, and well, we'll leave her well alone. It's a ghost chasing kind of day, so where are you then? Hello and welcome to Postgarden of Finds. I'm Rachel.
I'm Wills.
And today we're in Chester. We know what you're thinking. You've done Chester before. Yeah, we know. It was our second ever vlog.
But it wasn't very good. We watched it this morning, we thought it was a bit pants, and we need to do it again. But this isn't it.
Oh no, today we've downloaded a new app and we're off on an afternoon ghost tour.
But we wanted to make a day of it, so we've booked a boat trip as well. Let's go!
But first, some nature. And we hope you've noticed, after last week's shocking sound, Wills has got us some mics. Past the Old Dee Bridge, the oldest bridge in Chester. Oh look, even Jesus is on YouTube these days. And now for a little weir. Lovely, unless you currently need a wee. Oh, Rach is off for a boat trip. Wills is well excited for his boat trip. Now, which boat is it then? Not that one. Ooh, that one looks nice and grand. The Lady Diana, how regal. Is it ours? Nope, that one's ours, and its name, Jackie. Brilliant. All aboard, it's... We had chosen to do a half-hour boat trip with ChesterBoat. The tickets were £7.65 each. On this tour, we'd sail upstream, enjoy the wildlife, and hear stories from Chester's fascinating past. Ooh, the engines have started. Are you ready, you two? Champion! Now away we go on the Jackie. Apparently, the Jackie is named after Jackie Leach, affectionately known as the Swan Lady. She did so much to protect the swans on the River Dee. Coming up is the Queen's Park Bridge, an old suspension bridge that opened in 1923. Under we go! One thing Chester does have an abundance of, though, is rowing clubs. They're absolutely everywhere. Not that one, though. That's a pub. Hooray! You don't have to book online like we did. You can pay on the boat. The waterfront in Chester has some seriously posh buildings on it, and I think you need a fair few quid to own a place here. We'll just watch all this splendour pass us by. Beautiful. Now, Rachel and Wills, how are you enjoying your boat trip so far? Magic. On the first leg of the journey, the talk is mostly about the wildlife. Not that we saw much this day, and please, for the love of God, never try an Instagram pose again. It's embarrassing. There goes the fire brigade. Not sure what fires you get on a river, but well done chaps anyway. After a 15-minute sail, it was time to turn around and make our way back. As this part of the journey is with the current, they lower the engines and you can hear the commentary really well. One of my favourite stories was a pretty gruesome one, that of John Clare. Ooh, pause a minute, Lady Di is off on her 2-hour voyage. See ya! Right, back to the story. That wasteland on the riverbank was once Hangman's Hill, and John Clare was in a prison cart on the way to the gallows. John had always claimed he was innocent and vowed to escape from the prison cart. He leapt from the cart and stumbled into the River Dee to escape. Being weighed down with the shackles, he sadly drowned. But the hangman waded into the water and retrieved his dead body. He then proceeded to Hangman's Hill and hanged him anyway, as the hangman was paid by the number of people hanged, not dead. That's a pretty brutal story, and turned the people of Chester against public hangings. What do you think then, Rach?
We really enjoyed that. That was so much fun, out on the river, learning a bit about Chester, but all we can smell now is hickories, and it smells divine, so we're going to go in search of a Sunday lunch.
That's right, forget poor old John and his gruesome end, and get some food. Chester really is a beautiful city, and this little dude was awesome. You play at my son. What a talent. Since we were ghost hunting next, we decided to eat in the oldest pub in Chester, the Victoria. The pub sits on the former site of the headquarters for the Roman Legion. There's been a pub on this site since 1269. The main beam in the pub is still in place and is almost 1,000 years old. We love the old decor and uneven floors. What do we say, Wills?
Cheers!
We certainly do, and they serve a mean Sunday lunch too. Get stuck in, lads.
Well, that was delicious. Highly recommend a Sunday lunch in the Victoria pub in Chester. We're now going to go on our ghost walk and explore that out. Let's go.
Thanks Victoria Pub for getting us all set for our ghost hunting. Our tour starts at the tourist office. Once at the start point, you can commence the tour on the app. There's the town hall, we must be there. Step 1, open the app. Step 2, start tour. Step 3, look at the map and then, like David Copperfield, look who materialised.
Random as we just started this tour, only bumped into the guy that actually wrote it, David Atkinson, and we're going to review it, and we're so pleased to have met him, and we've heard about the tour. He's actually told us where it goes, which way to go, and I don't think we can possibly go wrong now.
So you've got some great spooky stories, and if you're interested to find out more, or you want to kind of do more of this stuff, then there's also a regular tour which is open to the public. Leaves 6 o'clock every Saturday night. It's called Dark Chester, and whereas the tour you're about to do now is a bit more kind of ghost stories and poltergeists and stuff like that, Dark Chester's a little bit more kind of horrible history stuff as well, basically. But you can find out more at Dark Chester Tour on Instagram.
Lovely to meet you.
Lovely to meet you guys.
Yeah,
all right?
can't wait
Enjoy
to get
the
going.
tour.
Cheers.
David went off with his tour group and we started ours.
Just had our first direction to turn onto Northgate Street. Let's go, I'm dead excited.
This app uses your GPS location to feed you the information.
So clever, it's just told us the White Company is on our right, and there it is.
Someone's tiny mind has been blown by this. Any strange happenings yet, Rach?
Apparently there's been poltergeist activity on the upstairs floor of the White Company.
Ooh, amazing. Got over the GPS thing yet, Rach?
As you hit here, the next bit of direction comes in. It literally uses your location to trigger the audio, so you can't really get lost.
That's a no then. Although it's not Will's in charge of directions, so the lost thing is questionable. You can lock the app and just be guided by the audio, but I do like a map, me. Ghost story number 1. The owners of this shop caught a ball of energy on their CCTV. Upon investigation, they found records of a medium visiting the property in the 1930s. The medium contacted the spirit of a woman who met an untimely end when her husband pushed her down this staircase. She broke her neck and died at the bottom of the stairs. Is this a welcome sign or a fair warning? This walk reminded us what a beautiful city Chester is. Still got your map out then, Rach? Champion. Now, I'm not going to tell you every story. You need to come and do this tour for yourself. For now, it's just a few snippets that we enjoyed.
The last bit of info was all about Sick to Death. It's quite a new attraction in Chester. And apparently there's an old plague doctor's costume, coat in there, whatever you call it, in there, with a long beaky nose that apparently they used to fill with herbs to protect the plague doctor from the plague.
This is the Falcon Pub. There is a ghost story about this pub on the tour, but this building dates from the 1200s. It was once a grand townhouse and became a pub in the late 1700s. I bet it's got more than one ghost. It was lovely just to wander and hear the history and stories of the city as you went. What have you found now, Rach?
A headless ghost haunts this one.
Spooky stuff indeed. Now his Wills are sufficiently scared. All right, don't take the mick. Across the road is the Old King's Head, another amazingly old pub built in 1622. And over the road from that is by far the spookiest thing on this tour. You wouldn't want to wake up with her looking at you. Ugh. Moving on to the Bear and Billet, one of our favourite Chester pubs. It's been described as one of the last great timber-framed townhouses in England, and it has a ghost. Take it away.
Well, that was cool. The Bear and Billet was once owned by the Earl of Shrewsbury, and he locked one of his young servant girls in the attic. He didn't like her very much, apparently, and then was called away on business, as you do, left her there, no food and water. When he came back, she was dead, and apparently late at night, you can see her pale white ghostly face looking out of the attic window.
We can well imagine it. We were now back down at the river, and some crazy canoeists had decided the weir was good for a paddle. At this point of the tour, we heard the story of John Clare once again. This road is the road taken from the jail to Hangman's Hill. So what are you going to do to mark this spooky street? That's right, have an ice cream. 2 Mr. Whippies if you please, madam, with a lovely flake. Because
Ghost hunting is hungry work.
it certainly is. Right where you embark for the boat tours is the site where John Clare is said to have entered the water. Today, this is one of the busiest parts of Chester, especially on a hot summer's day. Here comes Jackie. She's putting in a shift today. It was time to head up towards the park and learn a little about this building that we'd never noticed before. How's your GPS holding up, Rach?
One thing we have found is that you do have to be right on the path. We were 10 metres away from it on the road and it missed a point. But apart from that, cannot fault it. Let's carry on ghost hunting.
Now, I've walked this path many a time at night when working for the open air theatre, and it is spooky.
Apparently this old street lamp flickers quite a lot and it's the site of a smoke ghost. But today, there's just a squirrel.
And he was incredibly cute. You chowed down on your nuts, lad. This is St John's the Baptist Church, the oldest place of worship in Chester. The church was first founded in the late 7th century by the Anglo-Saxons. It is now considered to be the best example of 11th and 12th century church architecture in Chester. It has such a calm and serene feel inside these ruins. It also has a mystery. This is the coffin in the wall, marked with the words "dust to dust." No one knows whose coffin this is. Is it a wayward monk denied burial on holy ground? Or an ambitious friar trying to be closer to God? It's a ghostly mystery. There is a really cool story tying King Harold II, you know, him that got an arrow in the eye at Hastings, to Chester, and it could be him that haunts this area. Do check out the full story. It's fascinating. This is the old Roman amphitheatre. Although many have died at this spot, there has never been a sighting of a ghostly Roman soldier. Far more eerie is this building behind, Dee House. This is a former Georgian convent school and looks like something out of a Hitchcock movie. Many people who pass by have a bad feeling that something terrible happened here. There are regular sightings of shadowy figures in this building. Passing by the Roman gardens, we climbed up onto the city walls. This stretch of the walls is where there have been reports of shadowy sightings of Roman soldiers. Will we see one today? Nope, it's just David and his tour group. Hiya, David! We always enjoy walking the city walls. It's one of the great things to do whilst visiting Chester, and when you're ghost hunting whilst you do it, it's even better. We heard some more stories along this stretch about the ghost of a monk and the Marlborough Arms pub. You then arrive at Chester's most Instagrammable spot, the Eastgate Clock. But we're not looking at that today, we need another ghost story. From up here you get a great view of the old Thornton's chocolate shop building. It's so pretty, but is home to Chester's most active ghost, Sarah. She lived in the 19th century and hung herself on the morning of her wedding day upon hearing her fiancé had been killed. Even after an exorcism here, Sarah hung on. She most famously trashed the window display on Valentine's Day. Talk about holding a grudge. We continued along the walls past Chester's stunning cathedral. Then it was down into Abbey Square for one last story. We did question directions at this point, but then got distracted by Nora Batting. Our last ghostly tale was in this square. What a beautiful square it is too. You can imagine it in times gone by with horses and carriages passing through. Go on, enlighten us, Rach.
Number 3 here used to be the old brewery and bakery for the monks in the cathedral. And it's said, even to this day, even though it hasn't been that for years, every now and again, you still get the smells of baking bread and brewing beer.
Or maybe Shakin' Stevens lives here, behind the green door.
And on that blisteringly unfunny note, I think it's time to go home. Come on, Captain Comedy. It's time for a pint and a sum up. Chester, you've been absolutely amazing.
It certainly was, and cheers! We're back home now, and that was a totally lovely day. I really enjoyed the boat trip. I don't think I've ever done that before.
I think I've done it years and years ago.
I'd be intrigued to know what the 2-hour one did. The 15-minute one kind of gets you to the end of the buildings in Chester, turns round, comes back. Some lovely stories along the way. It was very, very pleasant, highly recommended. Yeah. And you could hear us, we have mics now.
Yeah, they didn't quite work to plan. They've got this funny setting on them where it does a noise reduction thing, and it didn't really work, and it made it go a bit flangy, but we'll learn.
We'll learn. Dinner was fantastic.
It was very nice.
We highly recommend the Victoria for your Sunday lunch. Well, just for a drink, it's got such a great vibe. You can't see on our video, the floors are incredible. They are so uneven because it's such an old building, but do go there. there. It's absolutely amazing.
Yep.
And the app, the tour.
And the app.
Absolutely love it. Can't believe we bumped into the writer of the tour.
was
That
funny,
was
wasn't it?
just insane.
What was quite funny was we were stood outside the town hall, and this chap came up to us and said, "Oh, you're doing the tour?" Because he was obviously the tour guide. We said,
Yeah.
"Yeah." He says, "Oh, I'm with you today." We said, "No,
No, you're not."
we're with the self-guided one." He goes, "No, I'm with you. That's me."
That's me. Oh, that was really, really
was
funny.
funny.
But yeah, it was a really great app. It was the sort of app that I'd love to have if I was somewhere for an afternoon on my own. And it was also like, I used to be on tour. I used to be there with my Lonely Planet, trying to find things to do. It would have been great then. But here's a sentence I never thought I'd see. We need to get some AirPods.
Ooh, we weren't. You didn't look cool, did you?
I
With
didn't
your,
look
with
cool.
your headphones.
You know, I teach teenagers. I always say to them, "What do you want AirPods for?" No, I know. Only I could hear the information, and I had to relay it onto Wills as we went round. I mean, we could have both had the app and done it together, but we were filming
But I
as
was
well.
filming Rachel's
But with the
information.
AirPods, we could have Bluetoothed and had an
Had
ear
one
each.
Yep.
So we need to invest in some AirPods.
And you
in the
did
future.
mention, but if you did go off the route itself, sometimes the GPS didn't trigger.
No.
But that was more us than the app.
than the app. I think if we'd been we were just wandering
But it was
off.
clever, wasn't it?
It was so
I
clever.
can't wait to do some more.
so clever.
We want to write some.
Yeah, we want to write some of
definitely
these.
wanna write
But
some walks.
it was so good, and yeah, download the app. There's lots of free ones on there. That one cost, was it about $5? Something like that. And once you've got it, you've got it forever. So you can go and do it again if you want to.
There's two modes, aren't there? You can
yeah,
either do the tour live,
you can
as
do
it
the
were,
armchair mode.
where you basically, it shows you the map and it gives you
Shows
the
you the
information without
okay, and you
actually
don't
being
have to look at the map. It's just me. I do like a map.
You do like a map.
But you can just put it in your pocket. It locks your screen, so it doesn't like go off. It locks it into the app, and you just walk and watch, and it's absolutely amazing.
And there were some spooky stories.
There were some spooky stories. We thought we came back. Would that have been better at night? Maybe.
I don't know if it would.
I don't know if it would at all. We certainly got a good atmosphere. We've done a ghost walk in Chester guided at night.
It might have been by him, actually.
Yeah,
a
which
few years
was
ago.
good.
Yeah.
But no, that was just a fun, pleasant way to
It was a
spend
really
an
good
hour.
afternoon,
Yeah,
wasn't
really
it?
good. And we want to do some more of those. So
And we are going to do Chester properly.
Yeah.
Because as we said earlier, we watched our last Chester video, which
second
was our
vlog we
second
ever
vlog.
did. God love us.
Pretty bad.
It was pretty bad.
Go back and watch it, though.
So we will leave you there for now. And we'd say, if you'd like this video, that would be lovely.
If you could hit the button and subscribe, we'd love that.
Subscribe,
Thank
that'll
you
be
very
great.
much.
And as we always say at the end of our vlogs,
Cheers to the good times. What does a ghost eat with bolognese?
I don't know.
Spook-getty.
Oh.